same place, Perry's Monument, same water. It's
Same
lovely.
water.
I don't even know why
Really?
we should move.
Why
from here, 'cause
move?
it's gorgeous.
Right? Why move? Well, except to show them more of Erie.
Yes, this will
but
probably be the
otherwise-
last one right here. We'll take you someplace else for the next one. But
It is so nice.
it is. It's gorgeous. It's a nice seed. I mean, we got it all
Yeah.
going on. But we talked in the last one about doing a spin-off about characters who don't do things the way we would. And I will confess, I can't think of any of my characters that do everything the way I would do it.
Absolutely.
I tend to meet things head on. I tend to say what I mean. I tend to do it nicely. I try not to be mean. Even if I'm complaining, I try to complain with a smile. And, you know, at hotels, we did tell that story. Like, you know, I'm not happy. Why aren't you happy? Well, let me tell you with a smile on my face.
How are you going to make me happy?
Yeah, now it's your job to fix this. But I have had characters that is not the reaction. They are less than happy or don't meet those obstacles with that sense of optimism.
Or grace, or, you know, or they use words that we wouldn't use. They say things. See, this is one of these things where, okay, so if you have a character who says a thing and somebody gets bent about it, and then they accuse you, the author, of, no, please no. We are not our characters. Our characters are not us. Our characters are our characters. And you know what? Sometimes a character has to use an F-bomb. We had a conversation about that where you generally don't do that, but there was a book where nothing else would work. That was the only thing that would work. You know, a character who says a comment that somebody finds offensive, that does not mean that the author shares that same...
Or is offensive. I would hope that...
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
But
we are not our characters. Our characters are not us.
Frankly, my characters, and you start to sound a little strange. I was teaching a 4th grade class, and they were writing their own fiction books. They had me come in and talk to the class about how I do it. And I talked about these people that live in my head, and that my job as a writer is to take the people out of my head and put them on a page. And one little girl raised her hand and said, when they talk to you, do you have to listen? I'm like, no, sweetie, but I want to.
It's more fun when they actually really are acting on their own inside your head, and you're like, no, wait, I wanted you to go do that, and they're like,
We talked not too long
this.
ago about Susan's mom loves my character Pearlie Gates, and Pearlie is a character. She's a secondary character, but she's been in probably 10 books, maybe more at this point. Pearlie is a character who does and says things that, first off, I would never do and say, but also that I don't expect. I start writing a scene with her. She's sort of my crazy wise woman.
She takes off on you.
And she just goes. And she goes on a tangent. And I'm like, where are we going with this, Pearlie? As I'm trying to keep up. And you sound insane when you talk about that. But she is a character who's very real to me. Nana Vancy's another one who does insane things, says crazy things that aren't necessarily me, but
like
she
lives
a life.
They surprise us. They surprise us. When it's going well, and when you have a well-developed character, they will take off on you. They will go and say and do things that you did not anticipate. And actually, to me, that's part of the fun.
Well, and I think that's when you know you're doing it right. When you're like, oh my gosh, I love when I go back, and this sounds really boastful, and that's not my intent, but when I go back and reread a book, either while I'm working on it or finishing it up, and you reread it, and you get to a scene or a sentence or just something, and you're like, I don't remember writing this, but darn, that's good.
Dang.
Yeah, and you're like, what?
Well, because also the other thing you should know about authors is we tend to waffle between, oh my God, this sucks, and dang, this is pretty good. And so you're never quite sure where we are on that given day at that given moment. But
yeah, and we frequently say, you know, if you read a book, really, please go give us a review someplace. They help us out more than you know. And I've jokingly said to readers who said, yeah, I'm going to go review your book. And I say, really, it doesn't have to be like intense. It doesn't have to take you hours. All I really need from you is 5 stars, this didn't suck, and I'm totally happy with my life. That's all I need in a review.
So please remember that just because a character behaves in a certain way in a book doesn't mean that the author themselves endorses that behavior, right? Because we are the scribes. We are telling a story to you, and
we have people in our head that we're just trying to get out.
And you know what? Perfect people. Who wants to read about perfect people?
Yeah.
Bleh.
I like a little flaws in my characters.
Absolutely. So,
There you
that's.
go. We'll be someplace else next time. Thanks for checking in with us.
We'll see you next time.